This is the plaintiff, Michael Lavasani. He says he thought he bought some old vintage wood flooring from the defendant, but when he got home and unwrapped the crates, he was horrified. The firewood stacked at the back of his house looked better, and it wasn't the wood the defendant showed him a sample of. The guy did a big switcheroo on him, so he filed this big lawsuit against him and is suing for $2,340, the money he paid the crook. This is the defendant, Sean Loftus. He says he sold the plaintiff some reclaimed wood that came out of a dance hall from the 60s. Once the plaintiff got home, he wasn't happy with the product, so he told him he'd take it back if it were returned in its original condition. Problem is, the boxes of wood fell off the guy's truck and it came back all damaged. He is accused of flooring a customer. The defendant filed a countersuit for $1,050 for storage.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff thought he bought vintage wood flooring from the defendant, but said it was a cheap piece of junk that he ended up getting. It was a switcheroo. But the defendant says the plaintiff bought 60s reclaimed wood from a dance floor. It's the case of he's got wood. Bad wood.
Thanks. Michael Lavasani.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You are suing Sean Loftus for $2,340, the amount that you paid for some wood that you bought from him, plus a truck that you rented to pick it up, because according to you, the wood is defective. You are counterclaiming against him $1,050 for storage. For the wood, you've had the wood in your possession, storing it?
No, the storage is for the Suburban.
For a vehicle, which you apparently, out one day buying wood, you also bought a vehicle from him. Okay, let's start from the beginning and figure this out. What happened?
I contacted the defendant for his wood flooring that he had for sale on Craigslist. Exhibit A, bailiff. My friend and I met him at his place of business, Bar Towing Company. And defendant showed us a couple of samples that looked very beautiful, very good. We asked the defendant to show us the wood that he had for sale. He pointed to 3 crates that they were stacked on top of each other, heavily bundled and tarped with blue-colored tarp. We couldn't see anything. And then we insisted in seeing that. He said, look, what I'm showing you, the samples, are the worst of the lot, and you will be very happy with what I'm selling you.
Did you prevent him from inspecting it?
No.
Did you just, I know that it's a big pain if they're all wrapped up and in their things. Did you tell him that this is representative because you knew your merchandise?
Yeah, I had what I had done was stacked and palletized and shrink wrapped the pallet, 3 pallets of wood, and I did that so that I could move them around with a forklift on the pallets. And they actually never asked to see that. I showed them. One of the pallets was stacked, kind of basket weaved together, 3x4, so you could see that wood on the edges and the top. And then the other 2 were in boxes, stacked in boxes.
Okay, so when he said he wanted to see the wood,
I showed him the one pallet. I showed him, these are a couple of the pieces that I actually showed him.
Right.
And explained to him that it was reclaimed wood, that it came up from Grange Hall that had been taken apart.
Which was a dance hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did he ask to inspect it further?
No.
Did you tell him the rest of it looks like this?
I said this is the worst of the wood that you'd
that
seen.
phrase. Okay.
Right.
And can I see it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so you decide that you're going to buy it. And anything else he's selling that day. What else was he selling that day?
Well, since he owns a towing company, and my friend was interested in purchasing a truck, we agreed to buy an older truck from him at $540. So I paid him. He would not accept check. I paid him a total of $2,340, $1,800 for the wood, and $540.
I'm sorry, you bought a truck for your friend?
Yes.
Your friend was there or no?
Yes, he was.
Oh, okay. Your friend was there, inspects the truck, drives it, and likes it and wants it.
We did not drive it because apparently the battery was dead, and the defendant said that he's going to fix the battery, and then we could go later on that day to inspect the truck, and then...
So you bought it before you knew if it ran?
Correct.
For who did you buy it?
For my friend here.
Come on up, friend. Is this the wood he showed you as a sample? Take it over there. So was it your money or his money that was going to buy the truck?
Look for that.
Michael actually paid for it.
But were you going to pay back, or this was something? What's your relationship?
I was going to help him install the flooring.
And in return for that?
Right.
Okay. And what is your relationship to him?
I build custom furniture, and I've been doing some work with him.
So he's your customer?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. This is not the wood he showed you.
No, Your Honor.
No, the wood he showed you was nicer looking than this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me see that. What's
While you're on the
that?
subject.
What
This
is that?
right off of the trailer, out of the boxes.
So what
Yeah,
happens? You
we
buy
haul
it
them.
and then you drive off, and what happens?
The way you see what we got, it was not part of that it was damaged. You see what we got.
Right, but you're talking to the wrong person, because I look at this and I think this is beautiful. So you don't. So I need to see what you saw that you are saying is not like this.
Okay.
I look at this and I see 60 years of people's love affairs and dancing on this, so this is like a market, I might love this. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So this is hard unless you're able to show me what was misrepresented. In other words, did you take a picture of what he represented it was exactly like? Because if you didn't, and then he comes here with this is actually nicer than this. So he could come here with any two pieces he wants, but how are you going to show me that what he showed you was on a 60s dance floor, was pristine like new laminate, and that's what you expected? I need to see what you saw that wasn't what you got to determine that what you saw wasn't what you got. How am I going to do that?
So how do you protect yourself from a switcheroo?
I think that you should be really involved in it and kind of maybe oversee everything from the point of delivery, from when they get it from the place.
Yeah, but what do you do physically? What do you do?
Well, first of all, you make sure that it's what you want before they place it on your floors.
But how do you know that you're going to get the same thing? What would you physically do?
Get a sample.
Ow! I'm going to stop right there. That's the answer. That's what you do. Going inside the courtroom.
This is looking, you don't think that looks like what's in the picture?
Ma'am, when I opened up the second and the third crate, I found out that the rest of the wood were stacked in United States Postal Service mail bin, which a sign posted on it. It says that misuse or possession of those bins are punishable by $1,000 and 3 years in jail. So he actually put me in possession of stolen bins.
Why was the wood stacked in U.S. Postal Office bins?
We had impounded a vehicle that was abandoned, and I guess the guy had a mail service, and there were some plastic bins in there.
No, he says U.S. Postal Office bins.
Yeah, there were plastic U.S. Postal
Why
Service.
don't you call the
bins.
post office and return them?
I was going to. In fact, I told Mr.
You were going
Lavasani.
to when? Well, after how many years of using them?
I told Mr. Lavasani that he would need to return those to the post office or to me. as
Yeah,
soon as
man,
he was
why?
done.
He's not the guy who took them from the post office.
I didn't take them from the post office.
Yeah, but you had them in your possession. He says that you did. He says you never notified him of. By the way, they're in bins that are your
said
possession.
you got them from a friend and not
okay,
from an
you're going to need to
impounded
sit down.
Okay.
Thank you.
It was not an issue for Mr. Lavasani until he couldn't get his money back, at which
Right.
point he threatened to throw me in jail.
Let me ask you a question. How soon did you get a phone call from him saying, "I don't want this"?
Hour and a half later,
And what did he say to you?
he said that there were a lot of short pieces, that it was going to be too difficult to put it together, and that some of them were warped and cracked. And I said, yeah, some of them are warped and cracked and unusable. That's why I'm selling it as 1,000 square feet of wood, but you're getting much more wood specifically so that you can waste and spoil the wood that is damaged and unusable.
That's actually in your advertisement, right?
Yes, ma'am. So
Now, what happened with the vehicle that you bought from him?
I could not do business with the man who has no integrity.
I wouldn't advise that you do business with him if you're uncomfortable with him. I would advise that in business you have already done, you may have to eat it because you've already done the business. And and the car, you have no evidence to show me that there's some misrepresentation on the car. No matter what. Where's the car now? It's with you still?
It's in my possession.
Is it a car or a truck?
It's a Suburban. So people call them truck.
And the purchase price on that was what?
Whatever, 540, whatever.
540?
Yes.
Now, you make him go away with all the wood, right?
Yep.
And then you end up calling him because you get a phone call from people who are still interested in the wood for historic reasons because they have a connection to the place.
The first people that looked at the wood, Jim and Kathy, called me right after they signed on the house that they bought. And they're very excited. They want to buy that wood. So I got off the phone with them. I called Michael Lavasani. I left him a voicemail. A few minutes later, I sent him a text, which is on my phone if you'd like to see it.
And you tell him there's someone who wants to buy the wood from you.
At the $2 a square foot.
At the same price.
Yep.
And this girl really wanted it because her parents used to dance at this dance hall?
Yeah.
Okay, did you get that message?
Yes, I did.
Why didn't you just, if she wanted it, why didn't you just sell it to her and then you'd be covered?
Yeah,
And
I was in possession. I mean, I would be a conspirator to his fraudulent misrepresentation.
I know what
and
you're talking
stolen
about.
goods.
This girl wants it. If you're not a conspirator to anything, if you just open things up and let her look at it. I have a question for you, too. When you claim how he put you in a position that was so horrifying that you couldn't believe that he did that to you, how do you do that with a straight face when you take a picture of the bins and they're in saran wrap and they clearly say property of U.S. Postal? You didn't care about that until after you guys got into your problem. What's going to happen now with this guy? You got a counterclaim against him for $1,050 for storage?
Correct. So I sent Mr. Schrader a certified letter asking him to send me something in writing saying that he no longer wanted the vehicle so that I could sell it to someone else. I had a verbal conversation with him, and in that call he said that Mr. Lavasani had told him not to give me anything in writing. So I had no way.
Come on up. Let me hear your side of that.
I told him, I said, this whole thing's gone bad. I don't really care about the money. I don't want the Suburban. Do what you want. Take it out of my name, sell it, junk it, just as he did with the other people he towed it for, or not for, but from, to be able to sell to me.
Okay. What do you guys want to do about the car? Because it sounds like maybe you want to do the same thing.
Well,
you are just concerned that you don't want somebody claiming ownership to the car if you sell it to somebody else.
I can't sell it to somebody else because it's been paid for. And I have nothing in writing that says that the original purchaser no longer wants it. So
right.
What can I do?
But when you get something like that in writing, you're perfectly content.
Done.
Okay. And you don't want it, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put something in writing for you so that you're out of the car and you can sell it to somebody else.
Perfect.
That takes care of the car issue, which means that you do have to return the $540 that you...
I have storage fees that accrued on that vehicle.
And now we're going to talk about your storage fees. Did anybody ever agree to pay your storage fees? Of course not, right? Because at the time, everything was happy, everybody was in love, and they were picking up the car the next day.
Right.
So you seem to think that I can create a contract where there is none for storage fees. The reason he doesn't pick up the truck is obvious, because you guys are now in litigation over the wood. I don't find that you're entitled to storage fees. As for the wood, I agree with the defendant on the wood issue. I think that you know that you're buying used wood. I think you know that you're buying wood that you can actually see a lot of it in the way it's packed in these two pallets that it's in, stacked up high. I think that in the advertisement, he specifically says it's 1,300 feet of wood. I'm selling it as though it were 1,000 because I know there's going to be a lot of waste. I think that's what you expect when you buy reclaimed wood. And I find you to be kind of pig-headed when it comes to him giving you a buyer. Plus, it's kind of mean because she so wanted it for sentimental reasons.
Buyers, right.
And then you just saying, no, we will not be made whole. We will not mitigate all damages. We will just whatever. All right. So as for the $1,800, I find in favor of the defendant. As for the $540, we've already worked that out. And as for the $1,050 on the counterclaim, you cannot charge storage fees where there was no storage fee contract just because someone is waiting for a court to make a ruling
His vehicle
on what
was
has to
abandoned
happen.
in my yard.
No, now it's your vehicle that's in your yard. Take care.
All right, hold on.
Let's see what the plaintiff thinks about the outcome of this case as he comes out of the courtroom right here. Are you satisfied how this came out?
No.
What are you going to do now?
Burn it.
Burn it as firewood?
Yes.
Okay. How long did it take you to grow the beard?
About 4 years.
4 years? That's only 4
4.5
years right there?
Yeah.
You were clean shaven before that?
Yeah.
And you're going to just let it keep going, right?
Yep.
Looks awesome.
Thank
All right. Head right down this way. All right.
Thanks.
All right. So come on in here, Al. You satisfied how this comes out here?
It's a little disappointing that my my time and effort on the Suburban. The fact that I couldn't sell it for a month and a half, that's a little bit annoying, but whatever.
A little bit annoying.
Yeah, a little bit.
Harvey?
Okay, I want to restate what she said because it's so important. When you buy something specific, even if it's just ordinary stuff, take a picture of it in the store, do something that you can show physically what it is that you bought so that if you end up getting something that isn't that you have some legal recourse. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.